So I'll be talking about S12, I think it's called, and then the other one is C4, which is how I applied a series of relevant skills to meet the needs of the industry, as well as how effectively managed my relationships with the stakeholders and their expectations to support a healthy work relationship and work process. So first and foremost, let's speak about who I was working with. And I was working with a company called Swift Lifts. Now, this company specializes in elevators and lifts, and they are a bunch of lift pioneers who've been working in the industry for a very long time, and they sell elevators, basically. And to sell elevators, you need to know how to build them. So that's what I was doing back then when I was working with them. And I also worked as a technical support person for them. And back then the skills I used was it was a lot of administrative work, and I worked with a software called HubSpot. Now you might ask, what is HubSpot? Now HubSpot is a software that helps companies attract visitors, and it converts leads, and also it closes customers for them. And it's a cloud-based platform, so all your data is synced, and it's like a lot of teams and services, and it updates, and it's a place where everyone can come and check, and it's like a calendar. You can also put all your different tasks, and then if they're not done, if they're finished, you just basically go gradually between the start to finish line. And I was maintaining that and keeping it in check by inserting orders, and also making sure that the technical support's email was always being updated, and questions were being answered. By using HubSpot, they thought I could do an internship with them again, and for that reason I was presented with a opportunity to work on another software that they were going to use for their customers. But this one is different from HubSpot. This is more, the one that I'm working with right now for the internship is called Image Bank. And now an image bank is just as it sounds. It's a bank full of images. So they offer you a site from their website, and you kind of build your own website around it. And that's what I was doing, using images. So you make categories, and then depending on the categories that you use, because it's elevators, I used our brand. I used the two elevators that they are currently selling, which is Swift Pro and Swift Lite. And then I made sure to insert all the images for their brand and their brand assets, as well as the elevators. And the main purpose for that was so I could make a it's like a versatile solution for customers, so they can make their own presentations for sales, for instance. And if you are a person who even who do retail sales, you can make a lot of presentations and then send them to your C customers, which is what they were going to do. But I was focusing on helping them build the website, and so it could later integrate into their main website, which you can also do by making it first the image bank, and then you merge it together with your official website, which is their website called Swift Lifts. As you can see. Now, let's talk about how I managed my relationships with the stakeholders, and made sure that we were always holding on, and we were always on the same stage. Well, it's very basic, not so basic, but it's communicating. Obviously, we communicated a lot, we talk a lot with each other. I ask questions, they answer. I give feedback, they give feedback. I am curious, I ask, they answer. It's a lot of back and forth. And for instance, to give you an example, I asked if I could have there were certain questions about things that are confidential. For instance, names of an elevator. I don't know if they wanted to have that, so I asked, and then my purpose of asking was because I needed to know if it was important, if I could show that, because then when you have other salespeople coming in and they know someone else's elevator name, they could visually search it up in the web, but they don't have the specific software for that. So I thought, just to make sure. So by showing that I'm very considerate, I think that strengthens our relationship. And it eases up the work process by building a trust through my understanding of the sensitivity of how we work together. Another thing is I made sure that I also made the presentation tools very clear. So for them to use the presentation tool, I showed them how they could use it effectively for the sales. So how to tailor your own presentation, and I gave examples. For instance, you have a client in Saudi Arabia. Now Saudi Arabia, they are by experience I know because I've been there, they use mostly fancy glittery colors. So, and we do have lifts that are both in silver and in gold. So I told them to make sure that they show these type of pictures to the client, who will then present it as in retail to the C customers to attract them to buy, obviously. So that is one way that I kind of told them by interest, because they know their customers the best, that they should make it look like it's a type of interest and not just put any picture up there, because that could also distract or even make the customers not want to buy. So they lose interest basically, and that would cause a problem for the purchase. And now with the key stakeholders, that would be me communicating. I communicated also a lot with our CEO, who is also the one who's taking care of this when he's presenting it to our key stakeholders, if they're going to see this. So basically our investors. If the investors want to know what this is and why we have it, we should be able to explain it. So I made sure to explain to the CEO, who would then explain it to the investors, of why we are showing pictures to people who would benefit from them, but also who could also hurt the company, and that would hurt the investors' money inserted into the company. But because there is a copyright emblem and we also have a watermark on them, I think that shouldn't be an issue. So basically being very clear with the people who's taking care of the company, as well as myself when I'm presenting. So I'm very accurate in what I'm saying, and everything needs to be well thought. Another thing that I wanted to present is the different skills, as I already talked about, but the different skills that I used in this is not just through HubSpot, not just because the skills that I had in HubSpot and then I use it now on the image bank. So the administrative work in general also came from Teams. I'm basically taking information from Teams, the pictures and all the manuals. I'm taking everything from Teams and then converting it into the image bank. So it's a lot of back and forth through Teams to image bank, and because I've worked with Teams before and I have the authority to go into their files and see the information, I need to be able to know why where everything is, so I then can take it out, store it in my computer, and from them into the image bank. And because I've worked with it before, they trust me and they know that I know where everything is. That's also one of the basis to why I got hired for the internship with them. With that being said, I hope this was somewhat clear. So I basically work for Swift Lifts, and I worked with them before, and they took me in to make sure that I make a good job on converting images from Teams into an image bank, so I then can present it to their customers, and so they also could present it to their customers as well, so they can make an easier way for people to see everything through the retail's eyes. Thank you.